And apparently he's going to give this a go. ScootyPuff actually picked up the game while he was watching the fall tournament, the one that we know that Ben decided to weasel his way through. And they're off.
Yeah. Looks like we got the same start, doing the uncle route, one of my favorite routes, even in Keysanity, where it's probably a worse idea than open mode.
I think you have that completely backwards. It's a bad idea in open mode, and it's a great idea in Keysanity because you can't skip anything anyway. Other than that, it's part of escape, and we all know escape is completely optional.
Until it isn't.
Exactly.
So we'll see here in a minute what the uncle and the rest of the secret passage has for us.
I'm guessing not a sword.
Well, the uncle gave us a tiny bit of his heart before he died. So...
For organ donation, that's pretty weak, man. He's got to step up his organ donation game.
Yeah. I don't think Link has a use for, like, a spleen or anything.
He probably does. He probably could have used a liver, too. He's had a rough night. Some bombs in the chest. That'll get them going. That way they don't have to do too much farming on the way over to Kakariko.
Yeah, that makes this route really nice. A lot of runners will be a bit more pessimistic and try and farm bombs south of Haunted Growth because they don't really want to rely on a bomb drop or bombs in a chest. But getting bombs in a chest is something a lot of runners will like to see at this early stage.
If you go into Blind Hut without bombs, you're a certified lunatic. Ben skipping the kill, not pulling the tree, also a certified lunatic. But he gets bombs from a crab. Because that's how you win tournaments, everybody. You luck your way into good crab pulls.
So let's see what we have in Lumberjack. Is the anxiety tree gonna... Nope, just a map. Now, maps in Keysanity are actually really nice to have, but I don't see any of these runners actually going to grab this anytime soon.
You mean 5 minutes for a brief piece of information that you could have cleared the dungeon and found out yourself anyway? What do you mean?
Exactly. If you're unfamiliar, if you're new to this tournament in Keysanity, maps will tell you whether or not a dungeon is a crystal or a pendant when you look at the map. Otherwise, it doesn't tell you at all.
Yeah, and oftentimes when you're at the end of the game and you have all the items you need, but you need to decide which dungeons you're going into, and you have no idea which ones are pendant or crystals, it can be very frustrating. So sometimes it's good information, just not 5 minutes worth of stumbling around against, some wizard throwing blue balls at you. Kind of worth it, the information.
Yep, we get our first bottle here in the Forest Thief Hut, so that's good. That'll let us check the sick kid once we get to Kakariko.
Yeah, everyone needs some Mountain Dew to wake up with, so that's what they got in the Lost Forest.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of maps, one of the weirdest cases in Keysanity is when you get, like, a seed that gives you everything you need, except for, like, keys and except for maps, because you don't know. You have no idea what you need to complete the seed.
Yeah, exactly. And then you go, why am I playing Keysanity again? Is there not an open mode tournament somewhere around here?
Well... Oh, get the Misery Mire big key.
That's a good one.
In Blind's Hut.
Map against Howard, not so good.
Yeah, one of the useless maps for an experienced runner. Doesn't really give you any additional information.
It lets you know that there's an Aghanim 2 at the end of Ganon's Tower, which is really good information.
It is good information. So our runners will have just enough money for the bottle merchant.
Just enough money to get swindled, absolutely. Yeah. But no, actually, I really like it when you have just enough money and you have just enough bombs. You don't have to do any backtracking in Kakariko. That's always a good feeling to go through the run.
Mm-hmm. You get a small key to Tower of Hera, so we can check the basement of Hera if we really want to, and a small key to Skull Woods, which is almost essentially useless.
It is absolutely useless, but that key to Hera, those are often a very strong clue because you don't get those small keys to Hera very often if you don't have an item down there you desperately need, at least on an item chain.
Mm-hmm. You also get the Ice Palace Big Key, which is strictly required by the logic, but I'm assuming these runners both know how to do the Ice Palace Bomb Jump to actually skip that requirement.
But as we saw the other night in the TGH and ACM race, that big key can be a big difference if you go in there or not, as it might hold a critical item like the bow. So that's always a gamble going in there without it. It's also a gamble to not go in Ice Palace without it, waiting for it. So.
Yeah. Get our first shield here in Kakariko as well.
That's what we were all waiting for.
Yeah. Let's see what this kid has for us today. It is his heart.
See? The sick kid needs to show the uncle how it's done. Like, no, man, you're doing this wrong. Let's just step back for a second. Step back. Very healthy seed we're getting out to so far. They don't want to give him any useful items, just keys and hearts.
That's all you need, really.
You can just hug Ganon to death. This isn't Undertale. Oh, got
Was
a
that
big
a big
key.
or a small key?
It was a big, so we're going to be back here hopefully with Boot soon, unless it's the Skullwoods big key, in which case we might never see it.
Yeah, that's a big thing in Keysanity. If you have an item that's just lying on the ground somewhere, not in a chest or from an NPC, and it's a key, you don't necessarily know which dungeon it's from, which causes a lot of anxiety, especially if it's, say, in Lumberjack Cave. Also get the cape here at the race game. Ben is just picking it up, and Scooty has to go back and grab it after peeking.
So in open mode, I don't like the automatic gamble to the race game. It can be too costly. But in Keysanity, I mean, you're not really skipping things too often, and they haven't gotten many items in Kakariko yet. It's a very safe bet that you're going to need to grab what was at the end of the race game.
Yeah, in open mode, I typically go there if I have more than 5 bombs, but otherwise, I'll peek.
Why does the bomb count? Why 5 bombs? You need 5 bombs to beat Mini Moldorm Cave, and you're unsure otherwise?
Pretty much that and Ice Cave and any other place I want to be.
I like doing what Ben's doing right here. See, clearly I taught Ben everything he knows because he's following my playbook to the T. If you don't have a very good item to go down to the South Shore yet and clear out the Mini Moldorm Cave, bombs are fine. But if you can come here and make this check first to Sahasrahla, you might find a much better item, and you might also buy bombs on the way to Sahasrahla's if you're low on bombs.
Speaking of better items, we just found the flippers here behind Sahasrahla himself.
And see, that's going to work out for him because rather than doing the fake flipper route, he can do the fake flipper route and you know, go clear everything out that way.
Yeah.
He's not going to have enough money for Zora though.
He might, depending on what's in the actual Mini Moldorm Cave. If he even checks it.
Ooh, a glove upgrade in the dam.
We also saw that the Thieves Town was our green pendant by talking to Sahasrahla, because Sahasrahla will tell you which dungeon has the green pendant. And then later on, once we get access to the Dark World, the bomb shop salesman, where Link's house normally is in the Light World, he'll tell us where the 5 and 6 crystals are, the red crystals, as they've come to be.
Yeah, normally that's not, you know, you can just do a quick map check and save the lengthy dialogue box, but in Keysanity, that is absolutely vital information that sometimes you'll clear 2 and 3 agonyms just to get the maps for.
We also have half magic on the ledge, which is not an item that's strictly required, but it's very useful to have, and I figure both of these runners might pick it up at some point.
I'm going to bet that Ben will skip it. He doesn't tend to care about that kind of stuff. But we did get the Swamp Palace small key along with our flippers, so we're definitely being herded in one direction.
Yeah, Still need access to Dark World to make that trek, though.
Well, we're not going there right now. I mean, if we could go anywhere we wanted, we'd already be in Ice Palace. You know that.
I don't think Ben would be there.
Of course not. He doesn't know what he's doing.
That seems more like a Fred Coughlin strat.
Yeah, and you see how well he's doing in this tournament, so clearly it's the play. Scooty may opt to go right into Eastern right after Sahasrahla here, since he's already done the South route.
I think that's not a bad idea. You never want to let the quote-unquote Sphere Zero locations, aka locations available to you from the beginning of the game, linger for way too long in any mode, Keysanity especially.
Unless they're escape.
Unless you're Hippo.
He actually, speaking of letting Sphere 1 areas go, at least as far as the, he skipped the Ice Rod Cave.
Hmm.
Kind of pieced out after that. So we have the map of Gan's Tower, we have the compass of Gan's Tower. You know, do we have like the spare key of Gan's Tower? We possibly get like the doormat of Gan's Tower. Collect a set. Do we get a bonus?
That'd be nice. Just look under the mat to get upstairs.
So at this point, I don't blame either runner for what they've done so far. Ben finding the flippers at Sahasrahla decides that they need to be used and decides to go put them to good use. Meanwhile, Scooty, having already gone to that area, decides, well, let's just go ahead and continue that before we go back a bit. So kind of the decisions that they made early is kind of driving the decisions for the split here.
Yeah. I think I kind of like Scooty's routing more just because following the logic in Keysanity can lead you to many tiers. Especially considering, you know, keys can be anywhere.
Tiers with a T-I-E-R-S or a T-E-A-R-S?
The latter. We also
well,
get
the Ice Rod Cave leads to the shovel.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. It'd be interesting to see when either of our runners actually decide to use it.
Ben, unfortunately, does not have the boots and can't show off his swank shovel dash. Decides to go to the back of Escape.
This is a location I like to check pretty much immediately. It's a save and quit away, essentially. And there's
it's so quick. It's so quick.
And there's no real way to, like, leave here without doing a save and quit. I mean, obviously, you can go back up through Sanctuary, but that takes forever. But it also gets us nothing.
That's what we needed. More hearts and bombs. That's going to get us along the progression here.
Interesting. Ben is starting at Sanctuary. I'm wondering if he's going to go to the mountain.
It's not currently in logic and is therefore cheating. He's not. He's going to go to his own room so he can show off his name. Actually, this is a good idea because he's going to go to Zora at this point with the flippers that he's got. And it's a good play. But he screws it up.
Uh-oh.
Ben, come on. Have you played this game before? You don't even know how to get to your own room?
He's probably going to read it, too.
Oh, of course he is. He doesn't go there without. I mean, he could go there with 1,500 rupees just so that everybody could see his name on there. And it's only on there once right now. It actually deserves to go on there twice. A well-known topic of conversation. If you talk to him for at least 10 seconds, he will bring that up.
Scooty here is going through a dark room here in Eastern Palace, which is also a sequence break.
But when Scooty does it, it's not cheating.
Okay.
It's a smart play.
Ben is not checking.
I don't even know who this guy is anymore. Making the smart play then to route that from there to go get the shovel. That's I guess that was probably a good idea.
Mm-hmm. We also get a sequence broken book here in Eastern Palace.
In all seriousness, though, most sequence breaks in Keysanity are a real thing, but sequence breaking for the lamp usually is not a thing. Like, you just ignore it as if it wasn't even there.
So the shovel was a complete troll, leading us to the Hyrule Castle key, which gets us nothing, as we already have the glove.
That's amazing. All right, now they're going to swap places. Unfortunately, Scooty's not going to be able to finish this route either with his current rupee count. Oh, no, Ben is going to go. He's going to make the full Zora play. He's not going into Eastern.
Yeah, I definitely like the Zora play, although, I don't know. I would have probably done Houlihan before this. Just because. This is like his third trip to the lake area. Okay.
Wasn't that far away.
So with the lamp in play for both of these runners, that means that that book actually isn't sequence broken.
Well, I mean, you always know it's not sequence broken because you can get it somewhere. You just haven't yet. So that's why you kind of don't let it slow you down. You just know it. You know it's around. And as long as you don't go too far into the sequence break, if you need a fire source, you'll be fine.
If I have the fire rod, I will gladly sequence break the book or the lamp constantly.
Ben swimming with the Y button and places a bomb.
It's looking like this seed is having our runners go to either to the mountain or into Desert Palace.
I think Desert is going to be the next play, and Scooty, having already made the very, very smart play of going into Eastern and grabbing his book, knows that the book is now in sequence. He's not going to miss anything at Zora. That might haunt him a little bit later, but we know that he's in good shape as long as he makes a play either to the mountain or to Desert. Oh, that's right. He still hasn't checked the back of escape either. I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, we know it's trash, but it could very easily hold some really nice items. Scooty's also out of bombs. Interestingly enough.
Well, fortunately, he'll get some here.
That is true. So we'll see what the mountain holds. With the items available to us, we really only get 2 items and information about a third. Desert Palace would give us 2 items and information about a third as well.
Desert might give us less than that. Well, actually, I'm sorry. You can give us 3 items with the small key that we have.
Oh, we have the small key.
I'm
So
sorry.
that's
That
4
small
items.
key was also in Eastern, in the first chest in Eastern. So yeah.
Okay. So Scooty is actually making a higher EV play, whereas Ben is just seeing some arrows on top of Spectacle Rock and some rupees inside of Spectacle Rock.
Well, then it's a good thing for Scooty doesn't know right now, but turns out not making that play is going to really work out for him. He's going to line up with the logic much better.
Yeah, Ben does get a bit of a benefit because if the flute doesn't, show up for a while, he can constantly save and quit and start at the mountain now, which is a really nice time save.
Ooh, and the mirror. And Ben wishes he had that mirror when he went up there so he could have used that Hera small key.
Okay. So in terms of items in the mountain, that just added like another 2. And then knowledge of a third because we can check the ether tablet.
So Scooty with the God Vision right now, really playing this well. He's taking it to that so-called champion guy.
Ben is actually doing the front side of escape with just bombs, which is a pretty risky strat. Although I've seen him do some really good and consistent strats in one of these upcoming rooms.
Yep, some of the bomb strats, the guard movement is fairly predictable. So it's nice if you have a stun source like a boomerang or something like that can help you out, but you can still get the bombs and throw them in predictable positions. This is the advantage of Ben taking troll seeds from his followers. Oftentimes the troll seeds that his followers give him force him into swordless escape in order to get any kind of progression.
Mm-hmm. So Scooty, entering Desert, opts to go directly to the right side, which is not something you see very often. And Ben, I think, messed up that bomb strat that I was referring to, unfortunately.
He had the right idea. I think he placed it a little early. Gets the big key for Hera, so when he does go up to Hera, he's going to be able to complete more of it. So Scooty might be tempted into going up the mountain earlier with the glove, the lantern, and the mirror. And we know that he should go to escape first.
Well, thankfully for, anybody playing this game, going into Hera without the big key is not the biggest time investment. Because all you have access to is the first floor and the couple basement floors.
No, but those multiple trips up the mountain can cost you quite a bit of time, and that adds up after a while.
Ben is also going to be doing a death warp here, and checking the dark sewer chest.
Makes perfect sense. Nice having green mail in this situation.
Scooty is picking up this small key here on the ledge, which is a small key to the castle tower, which is something... Ugh. Don't want to even think about the castle tower.
Not running a whole lot of Keysanity myself, I always find that Castle Tower is one of the hardest locations to route in effectively. It tends to be that when you do your pyramid check, if you can get it done then, but sometimes you're suffering if you don't make the play much earlier than when you would have otherwise checked the pyramid with the mirror.
Mm-hmm. Both of these runners actually have access to the castle tower now with that cape in hand, so...
Right, we do not even need a sword. That's correct.
Very easily could hold our progression, but like you said, it's really nice to be able to go to the pyramid and then mirror to the entrance of the castle tower, because you don't even have to enter the rest of the castle to get there.
It's raining crab bombs. That's a nice refill for Scooty. Ben finding no value in the dark world, dark room sewer chest, so he's going to have to go to Eastern and take the route going into... actually, the play was for the most part to go to Agena Cave. The book kind of leads you in that direction, but you didn't find anything all that particularly useful.
It is true. So yeah, right now we're just gonna see our players are chasing each other's steps, while Scooty will be able to actually enter Hera, whereas Ben could not.
Also, I know this is Keysanity, and this can happen a little more often. We're 21 minutes into the seed. We're still a minimum of 2 items away from any kind of Dark World access.
Mm-hmm. In the open mode races, I like to keep a track of how many items we needed for like Aghanim versus, regular Dark World access, but I don't think that's really applicable here because we still need another key for the castle tower.
Yeah, one of the great benefits of Keysanity is they're not shy when they want you to go to do Aga 1. They have to give you the 2 keys.
So Scooty is actually going to be checking the ether tablet like I referred to earlier and seeing it's just money, so we won't be coming back here. I believe couch cash is either a big 20 or 50 rupees.
I think it can be anything 20 and smaller.
Couch change is 1 or 5.
Oh.
Also, notably, neither of these runners have anything to trigger switches except for bombs.
Oh, we do now.
Yeah. Scooty finds the hammer, which is actually even better because he can go directly to East Death Mountain after this.
Yep, but we do know that if he had gone to Escape first, he would be able to go straight to Trolldorm. Although, I will say, having the hammer makes you much more likely to actually want to do the front of Escape.
That is true. I bet Scooty just put it off until he would get either a sword or a hammer or something to make it easier, like a hook shot or fire rod.
Unfortunately, does not have any items to really make use of being able to, unless he wants to do the bomb strat on the switch. He's going to have to actually go dance for a good 30 seconds here. Ben making his way through, about to get his book.
Yeah, so a bit of weird information about this game is if you're holding a pot and you touch one of those crystal switches, like normally when you're holding a pot and walking around, you're moving like 50% slower than normal, right? But if you touch one of the pots, it returns you to your normal movement speed. So...
Yeah, I've seen Christos do that for fun. He's just wandering around with a pot over his head.
Yeah, Scooty, you might think he's setting up a death warp, but he does have the mirror. I think he just got bodied by the Moldorms a few times. We find the mitts here.
There's a strong breadcrumb trail that he's getting led on right here, and he's following it very well.
He's going to take the death warp, probably for the free heal.
Yeah, why not at this point? You don't want to go into East Death Mountain, low, and then risk dying and having to climb all the way back up again.
So having the hammer in hand and having the mitts in hand, that just leaves the Moon Pearl, which I'm gonna bet is in East Death Mountain.
Yeah, and when he gets that pearl, he's going to suddenly have the entire world open to him, whereas before he's kind of been led on a trail, and now it's going to be an ocean.
Get
And
our
he
first
finds the
sword here.
Yeah.
And with the items available to him, we can grab that sword, assuming we find the Moon Pearl sometime soon.
Yep.
Ooh, Scooty is in desperate need of some health right now.
He should be using the cave. He's got enough magic, and he's got a spare magic potion. He has no reason to be risking it right now. He does. Good man.
That is nice. Might need to use it in this upcoming room too.
Absolutely use it in this room.
Or
before you jump.
Yeah, that's not good. Ben picking up the mirror a few minutes late. That'll probably send him up to Hera. And Ben will actually be able to clear Hera entirely.
He will. Although we have found a lot of value in the items that we were able to check just with the small key, so it makes you wonder if there's really anything else that's going to be in Hera. They tend to not bunch too many major progressive items in one location like that. But there might certainly be some keys that will help them along the path, or help Ben along the path when he does the upper part of Hera.
Now, we don't know whether or not Hera is required yet, but at the very least, it's going to give us, 3 more items?
Yeah, every dungeon that you can actually get to this early in Keysanity is 100% required.
Pretty much. I pretty much don't think about pendants or crystals until, like, an hour into a Keysanity seed.
Yeah, when you're in item go mode, then you can finally start thinking about that. And sometimes even that doesn't do you any good then either.
Ben is having some trouble bombing these popos.
Yeah, they move so quickly, so, you know, it's really hard to kind of pin them down. I mean, they're just all over the place. Watch them go. But he finds the moon. Did Scooty not remember to go all the way and get the Moon Pearl?
Good question.
Maybe he thought he did not have anything to hit them with, so he didn't go to the east side of desert. Ooh, that's gonna unfortunately be a time-costing mistake, because he just found his hook shot, and if he had that Moon Pearl, he'd be full clearing the rest of East Death Mountain right now and be in real good shape to go over to Village Outcasts.
Yeah, especially with the sword in hand. Get an Ice Palace small key, which is not necessarily required, especially that we have the hookshot already, but...
Yeah, you need a key for that.
But having a small key going into Ice Palace can make it a lot quicker. So it looks like Scooty is going to be going into the front side of Escape.
So this is going to kind of frustrate him because he's going to wind up double dipping, you know, the Tower of Hera anyways. But maybe that won't wind up well, he's going to have to double dip Tower of Hera. He's going to have to double dip Desert Palace before he's going to be able to make any progress. So he might wind up a little bit frustrated by the time he finds his pearl.
Yeah. We'd have to go back and review the VOD. Maybe Scooty didn't have bombs, or enough bombs to kill all the popos at the time.
I think you just like saying that word.
Popo?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know why you're accusing me of liking to say the word popo. I mean, if I say Popo, it's just because that's what the enemy's called. The enemy in question being Popos.
I feel like when you were a kid and you were in school, you weren't allowed to say that word. And now that you got a microphone, you've got like potentially 1,000 people watching you. You're just like, I'm gonna let fly. This is my entire goal. It's like Super Troopers and saying the word meow.
Popo.
Yeah, exactly. I will pistol whip the next ruble that says Popo. Ben finally getting his hammer at 30 minutes. Meanwhile, ScootyPuff getting his big key.
But we are going to see what's upstairs here. Now, I'm wondering if Ben is going to... It looks like Ben is actually going to be going downstairs.
Yeah, again, you find that small Hera key, you know there's something important down there, and sure enough, that panned out because there's the Titan's Mints down there. Usually not considered optional. Hey, Ruble.
What's up?
What's your favorite character in Dragon Ball Z?
I would say it's Mr. Popo.
Really? I thought you were gonna say Goku. I was sure of it. Scooty's gonna make the Aga Tower play. We haven't seen what's up there yet.
That could actually be huge for him. I mean, with the items we have, we can get there via the pyramid, but there's no telling when Ben is actually going to be in that area.
Yep. Yeah, unfortunately, whatever he finds up here is not going to be as huge as the Moon Pearl is, though.
That is true.
All right, we're about to see what's upstairs. More hearts.
Thankfully, you don't have to go very far in Aga Tower to exhaust it of items.
Yeah.
And
No value whatsoever.
Map.
A map of TR and a bomb upgrade. Meanwhile, Ben's finding a map and a heart container. So, yeah, the combination of items that they're going to get. Well, I guess Ben has it now. He's going to make his way to go get the hook shot and go clear out East Death Mountain. That's definitely where the logic is trying to take him.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately for ScootyPuff, he's taking the bait and going upstairs into Hera, whereas we know where the Moon Pearl is in Desert Palace. Although, I don't know where Scooty has access to after Hera, outside of going back into Desert.
I think he has to go back to Desert. Or he might have a nice long stare at the map.
I really hope Scooty just made a calculated risk in skipping that room.
If it was a calculated risk, it was calculated as bad. I mean, you know, every risk has a plus or minus to it, and this one just kind of rolled snake eyes. So, I do have to say though, if you do get the desert key, you know, early in the game, there's only so many locations you can go to, and you know, I understand bombs might be a concern, but you need to find a way to get those things killed so you can go check the items. It's really important.
It might have just been something that he forgot about, like he forgot he didn't have bombs, and forgot he didn't really have any way of killing them.
Yeah. Yeah, when you're short on items that you usually expect to have, it can kind of throw you off a little bit. And I understand that. We'll have to ask him about his decision to not kill those things at the end here.
And Chad is confirming you only had 2 bombs, which there are 3 enemies in that room, so you know you'd have to get pretty lucky. or wait a long time.
Or be a popo herder. I guess you're right. That is fun.
It is.
I mean, not as fun as you think it is, but it's pretty fun.
Just rolls off the tongue.
Not sure you want to say that in a vacuum. Just put some context around that. A lot of context. That'll help. All right, Ben, about to go check some of these chests over here. Did Scooty make it over to these chests in the light world? Yes, he did. Of course he did. Because he got his hook shot. Yep.
However, Ben has everything he needs to check Dark Death Mountain as well, and he will no longer be swordless in about, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes.
Ben's going to be clutching that sword like it's a long-lost relative.
So unfortunately, Scooty not finding anything of worth here in the upper side of Tower of Hera, and will have to go back into desert. I don't think there's anywhere else he can go at this point.
Yeah, let's hope he gets back there as quickly as possible so he can continue on the Dark East Death Mountain train.
Starting at Link's house, that's a good sign. Whereas Ben is giving us our first look into the Dark Death Mountain. Oh, looks like Scooty actually is about to get baited pretty hard.
By the shovel.
Yeah, by the shovel.
Oh boy. Kind of feel for him here. Quake medallion.
Yeah, Quake is nice.
Oh, having any medallion's nice. It gives you at least some hope that if you go peek at Turtle Rock and Misery Mire, that you might have some chance of getting in until you find out it's absolutely not the medallion you have.
Yeah.
If you have 2 or 3, it will always be the third.
We are seeing the first peak here at Turtle Rock, and it is the Quake Medallion, Vanilla. So,
everyone wants to go in the Turtle Rock.
I mean, we have all the tools we need to get in there. Except for, you know...
keys.
The cane.
Alright, we need to reset. Feasible, can we get a new seed, please? Ben found a bow before the hour mark. This clearly was not the seed we intended for this race. Can we start over, please? Anybody?
In addition to the bow, we
Ben
find
does not go get the sword. I don't know this guy anymore. Maybe he forgot that he got so excited about finding a bow. I think he's over the moon so hard, he doesn't even remember there's a sword up there.
Did he remember?
Might just have remembered now.
This is a bad time to remember, Ben. Okay, never mind. He still doesn't remember. So this could be interesting. We did find a Misery Mire small key, which, like the Skullwood small key, it's pretty much unnecessary.
Did Ben leave something in here?
I don't know.
Don't tell me you went up here for a bomb.
Oh, that's what! He needed bombs!
Oh, you got.
He only had one bomb. Okay. Alright. The master plan laid bare. Ben needed bombs.
You can't have a master plan if your plan involves running yourself out of bombs. Come on.
Although, yeah, like chat was saying, shovel. I don't know if you can shovel on the mountain, though. This is why Ben is the quote-unquote champ.
Because he runs out of bombs?
Yeah. Scooty, on the other hand, has a nice 10-pack. We'll be getting that incredibly useful Hyrule Castle key.
Yeah, you can frame it on the wall.
Yeah, won't be using it. So Scooty has about one location left to him, pretty sure.
I'm actually unsure what Ben has left on this side of the mountain. Did he not have the book the first time he came up here?
There's
Oh, he had to have, because he
one
wouldn't have
location.
gone. No, he's not. Don't do it. Ben. Ben. I hope you don't have enough hearts to go in. No! You stupid fairy. Don't do it. Alright, look. I've warned him for at least 5,000 times. There is nothing good in this cave. This cave is worthless. You should just pass it up and pretend it's not even there. Just, pretend there's not even an item at the end. You open a chest, it's empty. Any good runner will go ahead and pass this cave by. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, that could be required.
Nobody needs pod. Yeah, pod.
What
keys,
are
come
you
on.
what are you
There's like-
doing
there's
with
like-
the key in your chest?
Just making late night trips to, Taco Bell.
Is that what you call the Palace of Darkness?
Yeah. When else would you go to Taco Bell? You don't go there to Taco Bell under cover of daylight. People might see you.
To provide context, in the open mode Swiss seating stream where Ben was going through and finding tickets with players' names on them, that was where Hippo's name was, so it's become Hippo's Cave.
Although I try to avoid mentioning it with my name attached to it while doing commentary as to not meme myself into the game, but it's just a running joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is probably important if we're going to spend that much time on the stupid joke to actually explain it.
Getting our first look here at the quote-unquote hype cave.
Well, it's got a sword in it. That's probably already passes Ben's test.
Yeah. And the fire rod.
I'd take a sword and a fire rod from any hype cave I go in. I wouldn't
that's
call it
pretty
hype,
good.
but I mean, considering the low standards of hype caves these days, it's pretty good.
Yeah. It hasn't been hype cave since the standard mode tourney when we were stuck in V18.
Oh, glorious V18 and your butter sword and Kakariko. How I miss the days when you were pretty much guaranteed to go straight from TR to Ganon's Tower every seed.
Mm-hmm. We're also going to be seeing the Bombos tablet here as well. And with the Master Sword in hand, we'll actually be able to actually get the item.
Yeah. Scooty finally went over back to desert, picks up his pearl and heads on the middle finger arrow, as I like to call it.
Yeah, we got a single arrow from the gods. It's not silver, but we got it.
Well, it is silver in his inventory because he does have silver arrows.
It is true.
So Ben apparently is like King Midas just for silver, so it's like a knockoff version.
Mm-hmm. And with the required items to enter Swamp Palace, as well as a small key for Swamp Palace, we'll be, I guess, seeing Swamp Palace.
Yeah, in open mode, I'm not sure you'd want to go straight to Swamp Palace this early while you have Village of Outcast stuff to do. But in Keysanity, we know you're not skipping anything in Swamp Palace, and there's 10 items in here, so you might as well just go before you start kicking and screaming about it.
Scooty picking up his bow. We'll also be getting his first sword here in a minute. Ben finding the Cane of Samaria, first chest in Swamp Palace. Don't even need that small key. You just leave right now.
Wouldn't recommend you actually do leave right now, but you could.
You could. We can also get into Turtle Rock. Everyone's favorite dungeon to do in Keysanity.
Especially when the vanilla big key chest has something really important in it, because nobody ever wants to check that one.
Ugh.
True story. My first Keysanity had flippers in that spot, so I've been scarred by skipping the chest ever since, and also scarred by Keysanity, I guess. Let's see where Scooty goes here. Does not seem to be opting to go to Hype Cave and Swamp. I think he's going to make the Outcast play.
Yeah.
We know he probably wishes he would have gone to Hype Cave because he would have been able to pick up that Fire Rod before he heads over to Skullwoods.
Yeah.
But these are two perfectly valid decisions. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Scooty's probably doing a more standard route. Well, more standard for maybe like open mode. In doing probably going into Skullwoods first, and then checking out Village of Outcasts and Thieves Town.
Yeah, it's the kind of route that you take if you don't rely on luck to win races. Got some more Mountain Dew. We're gonna be full.
Yep. We also had that Swamp Palace big key, so we could get those very important 3 bombs.
The bombs that Ben wishes he had before he checked Hookshot Cave. Ben thinking about whether to flood the key for a second and decides not to.
It's a good decision to make, I think.
It's the decision of champions.
Literally.
Is he multiple champions now? Just because he won 2 tournaments? Does he qualify as multiple champions at one time?
I don't know. Should get Feasel to provide clarification.
I think you just want to call Feasel in here so you can get some help.
Scooty finds the Ice Rod here in Skull Woods. So that's that could be very interesting. It could be very important, or it could be completely useless.
It does make you feel a lot better when you find it, though, because you know you're not going to be chasing it all over the darn map. It's a comfort rod.
That is true.
Don't say that out of context either.
Yeah, we got a small key on Bumper Cave, which Scooty is actually going to go and get.
Yeah, you can't pass that up. It's probably a pod key, and you're going to need to start collecting those soon.
Been finding the boots here in the left side of Swamp Palace, which, again, could be required.
Well, we got a big key in the library, so it's more than likely that we are going to need it. Odds are good.
Yeah, and we already have a lot of the not typically necessary big keys out of the way.
Yeah.
In Swamp Palace, Ice Palace. I don't think we have Skull Woods yet.
Thieves Town. Yeah, that's a good item to check before you go into Thieves Town. So if you made the route and went straight to Thieves, oh, he takes an overworld death.
That is no good.
Oh, he's got a fairy. All right, good. Not really where you want to use your fairy, but it's still better than taking it. Don't mess around with it. Stop. You don't want to mess around with those birds and green mail in the overworld, because the last thing you want to do is take a costly, time-wise overworld death and have to run all the way back.
Yeah, and since we don't have Aghanim down, I'm pretty sure that will take him back to the light world.
There's our last worthless big key, so Ben now knows that he needs to make a library pass when he does his Village Outcast run, which, since he has the mirror, I'm sure he will have no problem doing on the way.
Yeah,
nice
entry. Good idea.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
One of our... what kind?
Anything but a Mountain Dew. I'm full. We've got too much of that right now.
What about a Baja Blast?
Yeah, I just talked to Glenn about that last time I did commentary. I don't think that's actually a thing. I think that's you guys are making that up to try to gross me out. It doesn't even sound good. Like that's not an appealing flavor. Baja, it's like it's land. Is it land flavored?
I think it is. Anyway, Scooty finds another sword here in Village of Outcasts in the bomb hut. So that's good. Ben is trying to make a show of this Master Sword Argus. I think that might have been a 1 cycle. Or 0 cycle.
I'm convinced he has 3 hands watching him do the Argus fights. But he only gets a red pendant for all his troubles. Although, as we know, coming in here was not optional.
Mhm. So you can only get Baja Blast here in Palace of Darkness. I don't know if you can get it up there in Canada.
So we got the big key of Turtle Rock in the first chest of, the second chest of Thieves Town. He does not have the big key for Thieves Town, so he won't be able to put his small key to good use. But this is always a good, quick trip, especially when you have the mirror and you can just mirror out. Pretty much just feels like free items.
Yeah, Ben's probably just going right into ice.
I feel like Ben is intentionally doing things to defy me at this point because he went and picked up the half magic and he's going into Ice Palace. Maybe he knew he wanted to waste all his magic on the little jellies, so he needed some extra magic.
Yeah. So if Ben had visited Village of Outcasts, he would have Tempered, which would have made Cold Stare a lot easier. However, he did also pick up the half magic, like we just saw. So
that'll make Cold Stare way easier already.
Yeah.
Probably won't even need to use much of the sword other than the initial spin. And frankly, when you're as arrogant as Ben, you'll go into a fight with anything. I mean, get a load of this guy. All right, the dig count is rising and rising. We find a red rupee. He does decide to pick it up because he thinks he needs money for Pod, and he's probably right. I'm not sure he'll be heading there anytime soon, though. He doesn't have even the first small key. He does have a bow, though.
Not having any small keys for Palace of Darkness is pretty suspect, in my opinion.
Highly suspect. Normally, when you do Light World Kakariko, you're getting like 2 or 3 of them every single time.
Fortunately, considering Scooty didn't enter Swamp Palace, he's having to do the slow peg strat. I always wonder what the frog is thinking when you're doing this, because usually you come here with a frog.
He thinks you're just teasing him with images and visions of home, but you won't let him go there. But at least you're not taking him on the route to Catfish.
Yeah, like some runners.
Or taking him. You can actually take him into Ganon fight. That's always entertaining. Actually, so if you go to check, the Smith route, and then you find your Go Mode item, or like you find your last sword upgrade that you need to go fight Ganon in the pegs, you have no reason to take the frog back home, so you just take him with you into the pyramid.
Yeah, we get the big key to Thieves Town here in Ice Palace. So with that small key we found somewhere, that will open up the entire dungeon.
Yep, looking like ice is always the play. Ben's so confident in his abilities, he decides not even to bother using a hook shot over the spikes. He's just going to go ahead and take the damage because Green Mail Cold Stare is free.
And coming into Ice Palace with a key, you can take this route, which is relatively painless for Ice Palace. You don't even have to worry about keys. You can just always have a small key for that door that Ben just went through. And get this chest, which is oftentimes in like open mode or standard mode, kind of a troll.
Yeah, but the route he took does require a bomb jump to get over to the left side, but it's probably one of the easiest bomb jumps in the entire game.
Yeah. If you want to learn the bomb jump, I'll give a detailed tutorial. You need to hold up and right while you're facing to the right, and then place a bomb.
And stand there.
And stand there.
Yeah. No fancy movement here. Go in the upper right corner, place a bomb, and wait to get blown up. Victory.
We've learned something new. This is a very educational stream.
Probably more about Mountain Dew and Dragon Ball Z characters than anything else, but still, they've learned something related to the game. We've fulfilled our quota. All right, Ben working his way down to Cold Stare, where if he takes a single hug, he rips, but he knows he does have a fairy. He also has enough Mountain Dew that he could be firing the fire rod until this time tomorrow.
It's true. If he really wanted to, he could consume the fairy before going into the fight and then use the sword beams from the Master Sword to minimize his fire rod usage, but I think he's a bit confident.
Sword beams. Listen to you. Did you say that with a straight face? Seriously?
I mean, yes.
Another pod key. And our first crystal. No, sorry. Tower Hero was the first crystal. So, yeah.
How many pod keys was that here in Ice Palace? Felt like at least 2 or 3. Scooty is finally making his way into Hype Cave, where he'll be getting his Tempered Sword and Fire Rod.
Yep, that's always a good sight. You got Silver Arrows, you got Tempered Sword. You know Ganon is free. Yeah, you're at the 3 key mark here. Is Pod starting to creep into your mind, or do you think he's going to do this probably route to Pyramid, mirror, and check the Aga Tower area, and then possibly head to Pod?
Looks like Ben is going at least to check out the Pyramid and maybe Catfish. Jury's still out on whether or not we see Palace of Darkness. It's strange. Like I was just saying, 55 minutes in, Scooty only just got to Hype Cave, but Ben has yet to see Village of Outcasts. This is what Keysanity does to a person.
Yep, this seed is definitely pulling them all over the place to routes they're not used to taking.
Ben is also going to be checking the castle tower, which is going to net him a big fat nothing.
Yeah, he's going to get a map, and he's going to get a bomb upgrade, so marvel.
Thankfully, it won't take that long.
No, not with silvers and boots.
Whereas Scooty, with the Tempered Sword in hand, will have a relatively easy Argus fight compared to Ben and his Master Sword Argus, who will also catch up on some of the items like that Canis Maria.
Yep, you did find the cane in here, the boots in here, and yep, those are 2 really big items. Just no payoff at the end of the dungeon.
Mm-hmm. And we know that the library big key is almost definitely required. In fact,
actually, at this point, we know it is
required. Yeah, we have all the pendant dungeon big keys as well.
Yep.
Now the question is, do these runners remember that there is a big key in the library?
I'm going to say yes. They haven't shown me any reason to believe otherwise at this point. I know by saying that I'm cursing Ben to forget it, so that's why I said that.
Mm-hmm. Ben is checking best location in the game. Catfish.
Ugh.
It's really not anything you want to leave behind, especially in Keysanity.
No, you don't want to leave anything behind in Keysanity. That will always be the thing that dooms you.
Although, not in this case.
Yeah. I mean, because he went and checked it. If he doesn't go and check it, then it has, Gan's Tower Big Key. We're getting preciously close to item go mode here, aren't we? Just need a flute?
But in Keysanity, that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
Sadly, no.
We don't need a flute.
Oh, that's right. We know that Myra is a pendant.
So we are in item go mode, at least from the items we've seen. And we know that Turtle Rock is Quake, and we've had Quake since we checked our Dark Death Mountain.
Well, are you gonna shout?
I'm not gonna shout.
No. I feel like this stream is sorely lacking now.
So the Ice Rod, where was that? That was in Skull Woods, right? So that's the only item Ben needs for item go mode.
Mm-hmm.
Scooty is actually in item go mode. The keys that we're still missing are what? The Desert Palace big key, the Palace of Darkness big key, at least one Palace of Darkness small key. Or wait, no. I think with the small keys we have, we can get all the way to Helmasaur. But that could potentially soft block us.
Correct, and since we haven't found the Gantar big key, nobody in their right mind would dare risk going straight to Helmasaur in this situation.
Scooty has the Turtle Rock big key, whereas I guess Ben does not. We also still need a few Turtle Rock small keys. So this seed, we're in item go mode, but keys can be anywhere. We're gonna
please.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little while. It's not like open mode where we're in item go mode and we can just rush through all the dungeons.
Ben gonna pick up his Thieves Town small key, so right when he heads over to Thieves Town here, he's gonna be able to full clear that.
Is Ben gonna even go into Thieves Town? I guess so, considering he probably knows that he's missing so many keys as well.
Ben's a big proponent of the green pendant being a big deal. Like, he worships it just about, so I don't see him skipping out on Thieves Town at this point with the number of things he has left to find. And the fact that you get the keys. I mean, in Keysanity, you get the keys, you go, pretty much. Because if you get the key, you don't get the keys, and you go, then you're usually having a bad time.
Yeah, it requires an entirely different mindset than the other modes.
Yeah, for those of us, or those of us who've just joined, yeah, some of us probably have just joined, but the people who are watching who have just joined, Scooty was doing real well early in this game, and then unfortunately, because due to a bomb shortage and no items which he could kill these mysteriously named small little spaghetti creatures, decided that he did not want to do east side of Desert Palace where the Moon Pearl was, and that wound up costing him quite a bit of the time, probably most of the time that he is behind right now.
Yeah, and Scooty has done more things than Ben has outside of Ice Palace. Scooty has done at least the Village of Outcasts and the like Peg Cave dwarfs. I don't know if he did the Purple Chest or headed into Thieves Town. He also did a lot of Skull Woods, whereas Ben is doing that now. So, like, Ben has the crystal lead. Scooty and Ben have pretty much the same items, but really Ben just did Ice Palace and like the pyramid and catfish. That's his main advantage.
Nice silver shot from Scooty. Finishes it in one round. Gets a worthless bent rubber red thing for his reward, designed only to lag his gameplay.
Kind of looks like one of those things you would get in like a capsule machine. Like 50 cents, you turn the crank, it pops out a little bubble. You get a little red medallion on a string that'll break in 2 days.
I can't say I've shared this experience.
Don't have
I feel
those
like you need to tell me more.
in Canada.
I'm drawing a blank. This is like when somebody just told me about Baja Blast. I'm like, you might be speaking a different language right now.
They put the machines in like a Walmart entrance hallway, and then the kids will, say,
"Oh,
yeah,
I get it." A little slow. All right, Ben, about to make short work of this moth. True story, I did not even know until probably the last week that you can actually tell when he takes damage and when he doesn't based on when he glows red or doesn't glow red. Didn't know that was a thing. I just kept hitting him until he died.
It's a good strategy.
Ben somehow picking up on a strategy where you can actually bounce him off the spikes that are supposed to negate the damage, and then they damage him anyway. I'm suspicious.
Yeah, I am as well. So also checking this chest. Usually in Keysanity, I'll like to do this before Mothula because, I mean, it's not like you're going to skip out on this chest. You're not counting items in dungeons anymore.
Yeah, if you have mirror, then there's no reason not to. If you don't, some people don't want to risk taking the extra damage before they go into the moth boss. They want to go in as fresh as they can.
We got our blue cane here, the cane of Berna, cane of Brian, as the randomizer community likes to call it. We check our pedestal. The pedestal hype is dead. Fortunately.
Oh, thankfully. You hear that, people in chat? No pedestal. None. Zero, zilch, nada, no pedestal. Not happening. I'm not going to go get pendants just for your sick and twisted amusement. It ain't happening. Go home. And then watch more of this stream.
I mean, it's Keysanity, so they might get the pendants anyway.
Yeah, just because they need to go find items, they might be like wind up killing the bosses.
So at about 1 hour and 6 minutes, Ben is probably going to be checking Village of Outcasts for the first time.
Always late to a good party.
Gets a bush guard here, unfortunately.
That's
Still, that bug report. Should just file bug reports for bush guards to get them removed. Maybe we can trick VTorp into thinking they're unintended.
They don't actually exist. It's all confirmation bias.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Words from the man himself. Ben picks up his Cheeto sword.
Yeah. Whereas Scooty is just going through Ice Palace. I don't think there was anything in here but a few Palace of Darkness small keys.
Mm-hmm.
But those will be vital, potentially.
And a good time was had every time you're in Ice Palace. Ben does, as predicted, route in the big key, and we'll see which one this is. Is it the Ganstar big key?
Eastern.
Eastern.
It's necessary. I mean, we knew that. Scooty also picks up the Thieves Town big key, which we don't know if it's necessary. I just forgot to mention that before.
Oh yeah, and that TR small key, you're going to need a few of those as well, so ice is always high value. So this is a bit of a trivia fact about Ben. Every time he does the digging game, he digs an M. The M is actually short for the Belgish word for hippo, which I can't pronounce correctly because I'm not from that place, but just take my word for it.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Ben opting against the Hammersmith and also against Thieves Town.
That is interesting, especially when he has the mirror and mitts in hand. Also opts to not take that full heart container, which, I mean, you have 13 hearts right now. Don't necessarily need it. Although he might be doing it, he might be doing this first. Yeah, he's gonna go back and do the Smiths and Peg Cave because he can save and quit with the purple chest without having skipped those other locations in the South Dark World loop.
Scooty picking up the really important big 20. He's getting out of the big chest in Ice Palace, and he's going to make his way to Cold Stare.
Yep, and with Tempered Sword in hand, he'll have a bit of an easier time. Although Ben obviously didn't have any trouble with Cold Stare.
I don't know. I think he wet him. He only had like 5 hearts.
He's going to use Bombo strats to even conserve more of that magic.
I'm a big fan of the Bombo strats.
Yeah, I like Bombo strats, although the timing is a bit strange with Bombos.
Yeah, it's not a good timing whenever you body. He does not have anything left, so he's going to have to fire Rod and stay away. Come on, Scooty. Okay, he could cape. That's also a really good idea. That's probably.
I think this is a
more
great
reliable.
idea.
Yep, especially with half magic. This was probably even the better play.
So Ben is going to be heading into Thieves Town. I don't know if we saw the front side of Thieves Town, but at the very least, we're going to be seeing.
Yep.
Okay. We're going to be seeing the back side of Thieves Town.
Try to make eye contact with it, Ruble. Don't stare at Thieves Town from the wrong side. You'll make it angry. And then Thieves Town's boyfriend will beat you up.
What? Sorry, which of the dungeons do you think Thieves Town's boyfriend is?
It's clearly Turtle Rock. I mean, have you ever seen the way Turtle Rock looks at people? That's the threatening. Stop looking at Thieves Town backside. Look.
So do Light World dungeons and Dark World dungeons date?
You know, it's becoming a more progressive Hyrule, and they're starting to be more accepting of it. But for the most part, they kind of don't. The whole giving pearls to each other thing is still kind of a weird thing.
Okay, so we're actually in the back half of Thieves Town.
Yep, we get new items.
Yep, another, 4 chests, including Blind himself.
Ben missing his precious god pixel. Still manages to make short work of every room, even when he kind of messes up his primary strats. Very frustrating.
Yeah. As a runner, I think it's important to have good backups. Oftentimes, if you don't, you're just gonna lose a lot of time or just die and lose a run. Ben...
For most runners, it's important to even have good primaries, even half as good as Ben's backups,
Yeah,
if we're being honest. So. Yep, Scooty going to go pick up his Eastern Key. Wonder if that's going to command him, since he's already kind of done everything else in this area, if he's going to make his way that way sooner. Probably still too early to be talking about the Eastern, and I bet you the Eastern and Pod combo is lurking in their minds as something they want to do, but I'm not sure they're getting enough small keys to ever be able to do that or consider putting off Eastern long enough. So not much so far in Thieves Town and the naughty side, but we will get 2 more items.
Mm-hmm. And Scooty's going to be finishing up Skull Woods. We do get Ether here in the big chest of Thieves Town, but that isn't... We don't know if it's required or not, to be honest.
No,
but that does round out all of our... Yeah, it does round out all of our medallions, so no matter what, we'll be able to get inside.
When you were back here, wouldn't you? Alright, Scooty's going to take his fire rod and go finish up Skull Woods.
Ben is going to put on a bit of a clinic for how to fight Blind. the pure NMG strat here.
Yep.
I feel like this is the 1,000,001th time a commentator has said this in a race, but Blind takes the same amount of damage from every sword level.
Yep. Another pod key. So we got 4, so he knows with the Eastern big key that he has and the 4 pod keys that pod and Eastern combo is on the plate.
Mhm.
I actually expect him to head there next, which means he won't do it.
He still has to clear out a few more things, I guess. But yeah, like 4 keys, if you can do the hammer yump and you have the bow, you can skip out 2 keys inside a Palace of Darkness. So 4 keys is the amount you need to full clear.
See, I appreciate you, Rubel. You like to explain things, even for that one person who hasn't seen any of the 250,000 hours of Link to the Past randomizer that's been on Speed Gaming all the way through Speed Gaming Ocho in the last year. And you still remember that those people exist, and they all thank you.
I mean, you're welcome.
You got to say you're welcome to the people, not to me. I've seen this game before.
Did you? I'm sorry, I had no idea. Anyway, Ben looks like he's going to be heading over towards the portal to the Dark World, south of where Eastern Palace is, because we don't have the flute. We can't just fly there.
That's right. Unfortunately, right before Scooty was about to make his way down on the Moth, he got wall mastered. And speaking from experience, I mean, I don't know what Scooty's temperament is like, but that tends to tilt me pretty hard. So I hope he's in a better mindset than I am going to this fight if I get wall mastered.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a very frustrating thing. You just know how much time that wastes.
Yeah, the back half of Skull Woods, it's like you don't really think about it too much when you're going through it, but if you have to go through it again, you realize just how long it is.
Yeah, and when you're racing someone like Ben, where, you know, if you were going to have any chance, you pretty much had to avoid mistakes like this, it can be even more frustrating. Scooty made a bit of a longer fight of this because he unfortunately did have him pinned up against the spikes for quite a while and wasn't doing any damage for the first half of that fight, but he eventually does burn him down nicely.
Yeah, thankfully, even if you're having trouble, you know, hitting Mothiel against the spikes with the Tempered Sword in hand, it only takes 4 hits, you know, once you stop hitting him against the spikes.
So Ben often gets criticized for why he does not hold the dash straight into pod, and it's quite simple. The monkey falls fairly far behind you when you're dashing with him, and at the point where you trigger him needing to open pod for you, if he is very far behind you, he takes this long, slow walk that takes forever to get up to pod before he goes and unlocks it for you. So if you cancel your dash and kind of go up and down real quick, the monkey will catch up immediately and rubber band right behind you and save all that walking time. So something that everybody should do.
Dang, today I learned. Scooty's going to be checking our pedestal. We already know the pedestal dream is dead. Long live the pedestal dream. In another seed.
To answer chat's question, right now, ajneb174.mark.2 version 8 is currently winning this race due to a number of small routing errors made on his opponent's part, and he's also, you know, I guess he's pretty good at this game too. Makes it difficult for any runner to beat him in any circumstance.
We're going to be seeing what Armos has for us. We are still missing quite a few keys. So Armos could very easily have what we need to continue.
Yeah, the Keysanity tends to have this like end game string of keys that you need to follow. You'll find one big key on a boss, it'll lead to another boss that has another big key, and then like you're just like all the linearity that you sometimes get early in the seed, you can find at the very end of a siege as well. And the earlier you get on that kind of big key train, usually the better you do. I've said all that, and none of that applies right now. So, yeah.
So while we can actually full clear Palace of Darkness, we don't have the key or the big key necessary.
Oh, that's right. We didn't get the big key yet. It could be Trolley and be in there.
Yeah. I see it there a lot, honestly. But then, without the big key in hand, we'll still be going through and clearing out the dungeon. Palace of Darkness has a ton of chests. 14, to be specific. The chances of it having something we need are pretty high.
So if it has a ton of chests, and a ton is 1,000 kilo, and that means each of these chests weighs, math in public, 67 each?
67 kilos? Maybe. I think that's about reasonable for a chest.
Kind of wonder about those ones that have heart pieces in them. Like, how did the original owners walk around with a potentially 300-pound heart?
I don't know. Oh my!
It is in there. You called it.
So yeah, we have the big key of Palace of Darkness inside Palace of Darkness. Who knew? That means Ben will be able to both full clear the dungeon and complete it at the same time.
Which is absolutely insane in Keysanity.
Yeah.
You mean you get to go into one dungeon once? Huh?
I don't understand. Get the all-important bug net in the vanilla big key chest here in Palace of Darkness. And Ben has to actually go through the bow lock side of Palace of Darkness again to save that second, or to save another small key.
Yeah, as frustrating as this is actually a known amount of time, unlike the 5th or 6th pod key hunt that could have an unknown amount of time and potentially more dungeon dips. So you'll always go for this, as annoying as it is.
What's especially annoying is, unless he finds another small key in here, I'm pretty sure he's going to have to do that again to get to the boss.
Ooh, desert key. Yep, here's the key train. All aboard.
Yep, that unlocks 2 more things in Desert Palace.
He shouldn't have to go back and do it again, because you can go through the spike room and come back down to this area. Oh, that's right. He's gonna hammer jump, of course. Yeah, no, he's hammer jumping. Save a key. So yeah, he has to.
So, Keysanity, Palace of Darkness, everyone.
Yep. You feel like you learn like half the strats that you need to learn just for Keysanity just to deal with pod.
Pretty much. And I think half the code in the randomizer itself just has to deal with pod. At least the stuff specific to Keysanity.
I kind of wonder if they can't like just say forget this and leave some of those doors unlocked by default. Like,
in previous versions of the randomizer, they did something like that with one of the doors in Ganon's tower. Like the door that separates the 2 halves of the basement. It used to just
tear
not
door.
exist. Yeah. But they decided to go back on that for good reason, I believe.
Well, if the team that put together this wonderful game decides something is good, then the Kool-Aid is delicious, and I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, we get the 3rd TR key, so now we can go mode TR. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to want to do that, since he still doesn't have the Ganon's Tower big key, but he's on his way.
Yeah. So with 3 keys, and if you are feeling pretty feisty. You can skip out on the vanilla big key chest in Turtle Rock, which is the chest that's over, that big pit of lava. Unfortunately, in the logic, you do always need 4 keys to access both that chest and the chests, and Trinex himself. So, logically speaking, we still need another key for Turtle Rock, and if the runners are incredibly unlucky, something important like, say, the Ganon Sour Big Key, as you were saying, could be in that chest.
Yep, and chat would love it.
It would.
Unfortunately, I'm starting to believe that that's about as trolly as things are going to get here, because unless the big key's in Mire, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of room left for where that Ganon Sour Big Key that could really troll our runners.
A better question would be, say you don't have the Ganon Tower Big Key. Say these runners decide to just clear out the rest of Desert Palace, go through Turtle Rock, even assume that they had another Turtle Rock small key in the mix. Do you decide to just go to Ganon's Tower and skip out on, say, the Mire area? I mean, you can't get to the Mire area now, but skip out on any of the other locations that are still left for either of these runners?
Just based on item density, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely do that. We've seen runners in this tournament not do that, and I don't know if it's because they think it's faster, or they think it's better value to just skip out, or not skip out on those stray locations, or if they think it's just like a gamble. Like the obvious answer is just go to Ganon's Tower and hope it's there.
If there's the one thing that Entrance Randomizer has taught me, other than the fact that I hate Entrance Randomizer, it's the fact that Ganon's Tower is an absolute gold mine when it comes to the amount of items that you can get and the amount of time that you have to spend for them. So as soon as you find Ganon's Tower and Entrance Randomizer, you're usually just like clicking your heels, because you just hit the mother load that you probably were going to have a hard time without. And in this case, in Keysanity, yeah, we have a lot more requirements to get in the Ganon's Tower. It won't just like magically appear in Kakariko, but the amount of items that you can get in there when you're looking for one particular thing, and the amount of time that you have to spend to check that, versus like you could spend that same 4 minutes just checking Mire and getting 7, 8 items in Mire. How many it is?
I don't know. Sounds about right. So another thing about Randomizer is that Ganon's Tower actually comes pre-filled with some junk in these versions that we're running on.
Now that makes sense, because otherwise you'll wind up with what we had back in like version 2021, where basically Ganon's Tower was guaranteed to have 3 swords every time. That version did not last very long.
Thankfully. And yeah, as Chad is pointing out, the amount of junk is random, so it could be no amount of junk, or a lot of it, like most of the items are junk.
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, it's important to know that Ganon's Tower gets filled with junk, and that's a good thing when it comes to the overall health of a seed. But I still don't think that overall changes your play.
Personally, if I don't see the Ganon's Tower Big Key, and I'm already, getting to the point where I'm going to be entering Ganon's Tower, I think that's kind of suspect. Like, I think it's probably in Ganon's Tower, or something inside of Ganon's Tower is going to lead me to the Big Key.
Well, and that's what everyone wants. Everyone wants the powder or the mushroom, since we've had neither one of them, and they can't fake each other without at least one of them. Get one of those to lead to the Ganon's Tower Big Key, and everyone will be happy. And we can all go have a shot of gin. Hopefully with something other than water.
So Ben is going to be showing us what the land molas have to offer as well. And, what do we need? We need just the GT Big Key, pretty much.
Technically, we need one more Turtle Rock key to really make ourselves comfortable going through there the first time.
The worst would be if something like Land Molas had the flute.
Yeah, not something. At some point, when you get a something as a pendant, you just would rather never see the item required to even go over there. It's like when you're in Gan's Tower, you don't have the Gan's Tower big key, and you find the book, and then you just start cursing.
Thankfully, most of the trollish items are already out of the mix. We already have the book. We already have the... I guess that's about it. The mirror is another big troll item to find late in the game. The flute is pretty big, but it really just opens up one region of the map.
Yeah, I think the flute, powder, and mushroom are our best hope for Gan's Tower trolls at this point.
So what is Ben gonna do now? Is he gonna go?
You have to go to Turtle Rock and do everything but the Gan's Tower big, or the Turtle Rock big key, and pretty much hope you find what you need there. If not, go to Gan's Tower. I think it's Ben.
Ben is going to the pyramid.
Ben.
I think this is a good idea.
It's not what I said. Ben.
But what if the pyramid has the flute? That's gonna be fun.
No, the pink bomb is a worthwhile check, I guess. If it doesn't pan out, though, you could also say it was a colossal waste of time. Meanwhile, other runners would have headed on the path to finishing this game off. But,
yeah.
What does everybody else know?
Yeah, Scooty looked a little perturbed at finding the Palace of Darkness big key inside of Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, who can blame him? It's kind of a bad spot for it, especially if he might have had doing the Pod Eastern combo on his mind a while ago, and he put it off. He also might be concerned because if the tracker is correct, he only has 3 keys, so he might be in the spot where he has to decide between full clearing all of the items and going to Helmasaur and kind of continuing on this item go route. And that's never a spot you want to be in because everyone knows what the potential for failure is if you're wrong.
Mm-hmm. So I've been finding nothing of use inside of the Pyramid Fairy chests.
And for the first time in this race, he should have listened to me.
For the first time. Looks like he's listening to you now. Yeah. I don't think there's anything left on the mountain for him except for Turtle Rock.
That's pretty typical of him. He'll only listen to me if it's his absolute last option.
Now I'm wondering if Scooty will decide to... It looks like Scooty does have all the keys necessary. Oh, I guess Scooty probably doesn't know how to do the hammer yump, unfortunately.
Well, he also has 3, according to the tracker.
I mean, for Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, but you couldn't do the boss, so you might just say, forget it. I'm having to go key hunt anyway, so... If he had 4, he could do everything, but he...
Yeah, well, unfortunately, if he did do the hammer yump, he could have saved that key and gone directly to the boss. Considering he has 4 items left in this dungeon, I would assume he didn't do the front half of it.
Yep, that would be correct.
Okay. So
and he's currently out of keys, so you definitely can't go to the boss.
I'm not entirely sure where he's going right now, honestly.
I think he's wondering if he checked the big chest. There's a pod key in Turtle Rock, yeah. No, he didn't.
So by the logic, we're still not through Palace of Darkness. I mean, Ben already went through it obviously, because he's Ben.
Yeah, and logic doesn't win championships, all right?
No. ScootyPuff did actually check the big chest. Yeah, now I guess Scooty checked the big chest.
Doesn't have much left, though, so I'm not sure what's left in here. That's why he's not mirroring.
I think he might be forgetting about something. So by my count...
Maybe the drop-down chest in the front area by that bridge where you push the block. I think that's the one thing he hasn't done yet.
Oh, yeah, you might be right. Because you need a key to get to the vanilla big key chest, which I'm pretty sure he hasn't done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he hasn't done it. You also need a small key to get to the boss. So unfortunately, Scooty's routing is going to cost him quite a bit of time here in Palace of Darkness, and he's going to actually have to come back later.
Yeah, the moral of the story is, a Turtle Rock vanilla key in the Chain Chomp room. So that's 4, and he can check the big key chest without any concern. So, yeah, we're hoping at this point...
vanilla.
We're hoping at this point we got something in Gan's Tower that's going to lead us to the key and take them right back out of Gan's Tower. Otherwise, this is going to be a vanilla classic V18 finish here.
Yeah. At least Ben will still full clear Turtle Rock. And even check Mimic Cave unless we find the big key for Ganon's Tower before then. Ben having a little bit of trouble killing this Pokey.
So, Ben, I know from personal experience, kind of likes the situation he's in right now where he only has green mail. He prefers lower swords, more of a low percent route. He feels like he has an advantage. And so I think he's going to be feeling pretty good about the items that he has and the routing that he's done up to this point. Except for checking Fat Fairy. That was a colossal mistake that he'll never live down.
So Scooty's going to be checking the Pyramid Fairy as well. Not going to be getting anything from it, though.
No.
He does have the Desert Palace big key from Palace of Darkness, so probably be finishing that up soon enough.
I guess in Scooty's favor, at least, is he's going to be able to clear Turtle Rock in one go, and then he'll have to go back and finish off Pod, but at least at that point, depending on where the big Gan's Tower big key situation lies out, he might be able to pretty much go mode it from that point on.
So I see what Ben is doing here. He doesn't check the Mimic Cave first, because it takes a little while. If that big chest, for whatever reason, contained the Ganon's Tower big key, that would have been go mode for him. So that's why he did that before checking Mimic Cave.
Yeah, it's actually kind of a gamble either way, because you have to walk in and out and do more screen transitions if you don't find the item in the big chest. So really it's 6 or 1/2 dozen. But in some senses, it does make sense. In optimal route, it will be more optimal. In the more usual case, you'll wind up running in and out of the dungeon an extra time. Ooh, butter. Funny enough, I do not think Ben will be happy finding that butter sword. Alright, Scooty making his way through desert since he did find the Desert Palace big key in Pod, so he's going to check this area first, maybe hope that he can find some another Pod small key before he has to head all the way up the mountain and head all the way back down.
That's a bit unfortunate. I don't know if we found all of the Pod big key or Pod small keys yet.
We just did. We found the last one on Laser Bridge.
Okay. So Scooty will at least be able to fully clear Palace of Darkness upon returning.
Yep.
even without the hammer yump or skipping that first door.
To answer the question in chat, yeah, Ben is still looking for the Gans Tower Big Key. It's our collective last hope for some nasty trolliness here at the end of this race. Otherwise, we're pretty much got this race done and dusted.
I'm hoping for Meyer. I mean, it's already not the pedestal. We know how much you like the pedestal.
Yeah, especially when it's a book on a pedestal. That's always the best one. Big payoff at Trinex. He'll be able to start a saving fund for all the kids that he has for college, university.
So Ben is going to be heading off to Ganon's Tower, and
hey, let's do it. Yeah, let's do the guessing game.
Let's do it. There are
1 through 22 if you think it's in Ganon's Tower, 23 if you think it's Meyer or Mushroom and Powder.
Let's just count from here on, like how many things. So even if it's in Meyer, it could be up to like, 30 something.
All right, let's keep going. Yeah, we'll count even afterwards. I can't count that high, so I'll have to trust you to do it.
Does anybody have the actual count of items in Meyer?
I'm sure like every Keysanity tracker does.
I don't know why I'm asking, I'm posing this question in the chat because they're just spamming numbers regardless.
No, vanilla Ganon's Tower small key.
Okay.
That's useful because that's basically telling us that we, when you only have so many small keys, you can only be expected to go so far in Ganon's Tower to go hunt for items for the big key. So if you don't get enough small keys, you kind of wind up stuck and out of places to go. And the more small keys we find, the trollier this gets.
Mm-hmm. So unfortunately, Scooty is going to be getting that small key from this noteworthy cave.
This otherwise remarkable and should be left alone cave. Actually, right now it has exactly what he needs, funny enough. Like the one time.
It's true.
Mail upgrade?
So if you said 6 or below, you're wrong.
Get out.
You should feel bad.
That's right.
No, you shouldn't feel bad.
No. You are bad at the guessing game, and you should feel bad. Ooh, there we go.
There's our... Okay, so it's up to what? It was 22 plus 3 is 5, and then plus 8 is...
More math in public. We have more math in public in this stream.
It could be 34 now, is what I'm trying to say. If you said 7, it doesn't count, even if the mushroom leads to the big key.
That's right. We have the flutes.
I mean, it had to be somewhere, right? So what is that?
Well, you technically, by version 28 logic, could have had the flute in Meyer. Okay. As long as nothing else in Meyer was required.
Nah, I think it's only keys.
Is that only keys that did that way? All right.
Yeah. So what's that, 12 now that we're up to?
Again, I counting isn't my thing.
I believe it's 12. In my heart of hearts. Been using some hookshot iframes to get through these fire snakes. Netting his red leaf in the process at chest number 13.
Yeah, I don't know how to read numbers either. Ben does his bomb pooping strategy because he can't control himself. He is bomb incontinent when it comes to Ganon's Tower.
Yeah. And I just now noticed that we do have the compass for Ganon's Tower, so it literally just tells us the number.
I think we were the last 2 people on this entire viewing experience to notice that.
Yeah, so we're at 17 without the big key, though we do have 2 new avenues to explore from items found within Ganon's Tower. The funny thing is, this bomb strat really was only something he did so he could save like a menu in
Yeah,
open
apparently
mode.
it's an MG thing, so you can save a menu from going to hookshot.
But in Keysanity, he might actually need bombs.
Yeah, especially considering he might not know if he even has what he needs in this dungeon. He might be leaving the dungeon where he needs... I mean, again, he had like 40-some bombs at the time, but it still doesn't exactly make a lot of sense. He's not going to burn all 40 bombs down so he can save the one menu. It's not going to be a thing. Ooh, we're good so far, everybody. We are good. We got 1 tower room check, and then the dream is alive. It's more than alive. It's a reality.
Now, does he do tile room first or second? That's the real question.
Second to what?
The right side.
He's already done right side.
Oh, that's right. I'm stupid. He is showing off the bunny sprite on his favorite nude Link sprite.
Trying to show off the
Fake powder.
Oh, he's gonna fake powder. He's already setting up a fake powder instead of doing the cake grab. I mean, then why not? You're already using the time, right?
If it's that magic bat, that's gonna be hilarious, honestly.
I will not laugh because that'll be way too easy to even out. But yeah, if you're gonna go activate your flute, you might as well go check fake powder at the same time.
So if you said 22 or below, you're not good at this game. Sorry. This game being the arbitrary number guessing game.
Because that's also a horrible game. Not that this is a horrible game. Never mind. Shut up. Don't put words in my mouth. Put something in my mouth other than mumbling. Not that either. Stop it. Stop it.
So Scooty is gonna be clearing out the rest of Turtle Rock here. Gonna be getting the rest of the small keys he needs for Palace of Darkness. Whereas Ben is on the hunt. Our count is currently at 22. He's.
Would you say he's on the duck hunt?
I mean, I wouldn't say that, but you would.
I don't know where you get off accusing me of things like this.
So we're getting a fake powder, so that's cool.
Go ahead, explain to the people who don't know what fake powder is. It's your thing.
Oh, it's a glitch that was found kind of recently, honestly, within like the past few months, where you can deplete all your magic, try to use the Cane of Samaria specifically, and when you get that the beep beep noise that says you can't do it.
It didn't sound anything like it. Try again.
I don't want to try it again. Anyway, once you get that noise, you just open your menu, switch to the mushroom, and use it. You can even use the powder if you're out of magic, and it'll use the powder for you, even if you don't have it. It's useful there. It's useful if you're in a pinch and need health.
Yeah, absolutely correct. You can use it more than just at the magic bat. Some people like to use it on anti-fairies when the anti-fairies are known to be under a pot or under a rock or something like that.
Mm-hmm. So that's 24.
This is the best Ganon Tower big key guessing game ever.
It is, actually. And we're going to be seeing the Mire area for the first time at about 149.
Interesting that he checks checkerboard cave first.
I mean, it's that kind of seed, isn't it? Actually, no, the seed's been pretty nice so far.
Other than this, yeah.
So there's
He
our
doesn't even need it.
there's our powder.
25.
Yep, gonna be 26 and 27 in here. Scooty, unfortunately, taking a death.
Yeah,
Although,
he safety saved before he was
yeah.
before he went over there, so.
Might have been a safety death, actually. So 26 and 27 don't have it, so I guess it's in Meyer.
You can die if you want to. You can leave your friends alive.
Want to keep going with that?
I don't. It's actually singing is definitely not my thing.
Okay.
I just want to put the hook in people's heads and then just watch their faces twist in agony, and then my job's done.
Yep, Scooty's going to be finishing off Trinex. Not going for the 0 cycle strats, but 1 cycle's not too bad either.
Yeah, it can kind of be a dangerous place when you wind up behind Trinex. If you know the strat and you can do it well, by all means, practice it and get it done. But if it goes wrong, it goes way wrong.
Now I'm wondering, does Ben go to Vitreous before checking the vanilla Meyer key location?
In this case, I would think not. Normally, you would go do that just because you're probably in Misery Mire and he has a crystal and you were going to go there anyway.
Was that 28?
Yep. And the nice thing, you can do the hookshot strat to go check that last chest on the bridge, rather than having to go on the right side over here. So I'm sure that's what he's planning as far as his routing. Or he's not, and he just made a liar out of me again.
This is an interesting strat.
Yeah, he's going to skip the vanilla big key chest and hope that he gets something over here in the actual big chest.
So it's at 29. This is going to be 30 and 31. Just some Baja Blast.
More. Ugh.
Hey, it's pretty good. $32 gets us a small key for getting the tower.
He was able to check everything in Gan's tower, so that's not going to concern him. That's just going to help him climb.
Yeah.
He is going to go
Ben,
to Biddy over going to the vanilla big key location.
I like it.
Oh, he's also going to check this chest here by hookshotting over.
Oh,
it is there.
There it is. What was that, 33? If you guess 33, you did it.
You're a wizard. You're an absolute wizard.
So Ben is now completely in go mode. He can go right upstairs in Ganon's tower, finish the game. Don't even think he needs a
let's see if he pulls off the sub 2, or if even this seed conquers the mighty Ajneb and makes him go 2+. So, shot of Jin, huh? I guess we're in for it at this point?
Maybe.
I mean, we did get the Gan's Tower double dip we wanted, so.
Unfortunately, Scooty has to go back into Palace of Darkness because he wasn't able to finish it the first time around.
Yep, but he
so
did
it's really only serving. Sorry?
He did get the armada of keys that he needed to go back into pod and finish it off. He also is going to then proceed to have to go to Gan's Tower, find the flute, and then go in the deepest, darkest corners of Mire to find his Gan Tower big key. So I expect a very frustrated ScootyPuff interview at the end of this, and I will not blame him in the slightest.
Yeah, same. I think Ben should go downstairs and check the big chest, honestly. but we are just going straight upstairs. Got all the safeties in the game. Got silvers, we got butter sword, got a mirror shield, we got red mail.
A completionist
70
dream.
hearts.
Yeah, that's the one place we're sorely lacking, and I don't know. I mean, we started off well at Uncle, and we had a really good Kakariko, and then the rest of the seed let us down for the 20 heart dream.
That's true, he does not have powder. So, missing one safety.
He doesn't even have the mushroom anymore. He can't even fake it.
Yeah. Scooty
bad.
might actually grab the powder, depending on whether or not Scooty decides to do the fake powder.
Scooty seems much more humble. I'm sure he's not going to be so arrogant as to go ahead and skip such a crucially vital item. I like Scooty. Be like Scooty. I didn't say I didn't like Ben. Come on. Allowed to like somebody without, like, casting aspersions on the other person. I mean, come on.
Okay. So Ben is through the gauntlet. Pretty typical NMG stuff here. I mean, he does have the butter sword, which you don't typically have in NMG, but still. Get a nice one cycle Landmo 2 with that half magic.
Yeah, opts against the silver strats.
Whereas Scooty is now finishing off Helmet 2 and will be off to Ganon's Tower most likely.
So I find it interesting that Scooty still has a pod key left. And he's only... So he did leave the vanilla big key chest. I wonder if he will be going back for it. No, he can't.
Well, I mean, he can. It's just slow.
Oh, that's right. He did use the key in the front door because he does have all 6 keys, so he can do whatever he wants in here.
Well, that's true. We don't need to go back through the bow lock side.
No, he doesn't. I'm pretty sure he knew he had 6, so he went right through the front door and right to the boss. But again, him having absolutely no sight of the Ganon's Tower big key, he's still got a big mystery left to solve. And Ben deciding to check more chests just to up his chest count at the end when he puts up his big banana at the end. He's going to make him feel good to see 200 plus. It'll be a consolation prize for not getting sub 2 hours on the seed.
I think in future versions, they should figure out a way to make it so if you see an item but don't pick it up, it counts as being checked. So then we actually get like more closer to the max full clear, because a lot of players will just skip, hard pieces and stuff they don't need.
Deciding to skip the Landmo 2 chest, which I approve of. Even with his convoluted padding the number strat, some chests just aren't worth checking.
Yep. And leaving that big chest in the basement unopened, unfortunately.
And I will pistol whip the next one of you that claims that this run is invalid. I swear to Feasel.
Nice double here in Aga 2. Another double. Can we get the triple double? Ooh, we can.
At an angle, too. What a pro.
This is why we pay him the big bucks, right?
We do?
I mean, don't we?
I thought we paid him a lot of money so he could go, like, jaunt off to a foreign country with a whole bunch of people and never stream.
Okay, that is true.
Like a GDQ, like coming up here in a week or so. Value.
So on that note, we're on Ganon. Ben is gonna do some dash strats here, even though he doesn't have to, because he has the butter sword.
Yeah, he loves these things. This is his bread and butter.
Sword.
Yep.
Getting a quick 2-1 cycles in the first 2 phases. Ganon teleports are being Ganon teleports.
Scooty making his way into Ganon's Tower for the first time. We unfortunately know, for his sake, that that's only going to be the first time of at least 2.
Yes, Ganon, we did find the arrows in Death Mountain. Thank you for asking.
Really kind of him. What does he do in vanilla? Does he warn you where the vanilla? Did you check under my pyramid? Wow,
I don't think
that's
so.
an awful choice of word.
I think he just says like
Pyramid.
on guard. Like
On guard.
Yeah. And that's it. Ben brings down the big blue pig with an SRL time of, and Hippo's gonna like this, 2 hours and 12 seconds.
Failing miserably, winning anyway. The ajneb174 way.
Well, he
What a
would've-
hero, everybody. Ben, your 2-time reigning champion, and one of the nicest guys I've ever met.
Yeah.
That's the
And
last nice thing I'll say about him.
If you skipped the Pyramid Fairy, it would have been sub 2.
See?
So you were vindicated.
Thoroughly.
Gonna see if Ben wants to come in to be talked at.
I don't think he would dare. This is like it's like going on Shark Tank. I've had fun at Ben's expense the whole time, but Ben actually did request me as commentary for this spot, so I would not be here without him, so it's much appreciated. I actually wouldn't even be running Link to the Past Randomizer without him either, so it's even more so appreciated.
Ben will be joining us in just a minute. Scooty, unfortunately, is going to be full clearing Ganon's Tower basement here. Going to be grabbing the flute here in just a second. And that's, we know, that is the key to this seed, despite being a flute.
But yeah, I mean, who wants to leave the rest of the items in here behind just because you find one of the items that could potentially lead you out of Ganon's Tower? That's you're setting yourself up for even more heartache if you even think to do that. Was that a good shot? Sounded like it.
Maybe. So Scooty's going through the ritual here of the GT basement. Something you honestly don't see too often in Keysanity.
Yeah, you're right. Either you see all of it or you see none of it.
Pretty much. That's one of the saving graces of Keysanity, is oftentimes you'll have the big key and enough small keys to go upstairs, right from the get-go. You don't have to even look at what's on the lamp or anything.
Which can often, sometimes people actually worry about whether to go into Ganon's Tower without boots. And if you were ever stressing about that 4.3% chance of failing, then finding the big key early before you go to Ganon's Tower, can ease your concerns. And just make you, in for a very slow and painful climb. Ben is available, so I'll go ahead and bring him in if I know how to do this. GG ajneb174. How'd you feel?
Yo, thanks. I feel pretty good. That was a really good seed, obviously.
So do you think someone should submit that seed for your running extra seeds thing?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I was mining a lot when I saw the mushroom at first in Ganon's Tower. Then when I saw the flute, and yeah, I mean, That was a nice seed.
And the powder was still out there, so
Yeah. On checkerboard.
it was actually a nice use of time for you to set up for your fake powder glitch, since you knew you were going to have to go over to Kakariko to activate the flute anyway. So you're like, well, while I'm here, I might as well go and take care of 2 birds here.
Yeah, it was something. I mean, it was really linear for a really long time, like 30-40 minutes at least.
It certainly was. You missing out on going to Eastern early in that book, we were concerned was going to cost you for a while. Because Scooty did actually make a fairly early Eastern check, but unfortunately for him, when he did go to Desert, he did not have enough bombs to go kill the mysterious spaghetti monsters on the right side, and left the Pearl.
Oh wow, yeah, that's really bad. I was actually thinking about going into Eastern right away, then I just got the flippers and was like, yeah, I'm gonna check all of that. And also, I think I got 300 rupees at the same time or something, so I was feeling it was probably better. So just I couldn't do Eastern early after that.
Speaking of early flippers, and what happened in the drop-down room where you went to go get your last rupees? What did you get canceled?
No, I guess I just pushed too much. It was kind of weird.
The button's broken?
Maybe. It was really weird. I was afraid of missing another time.
But you weren't afraid of missing the time by going to the Fat Ferry on the way up, and that cost you the 2 hours. So, I mean, what's a little extra time to show your name off?
I don't know. Not always.
I think you're just mad because you don't have your name in there twice.
Might be that.
Are you boycotting until you get your name in there the appropriate number of times?
Yeah, I'm done with the tourney until my name is there. Again.
Just need the second copy of it right below the first one.
Yeah.
Anything else in the seed that bugged you other than the obvious hilarious double dip to Gan's Tower that chat absolutely loved?
Yeah, I'm sure everybody loved it. Not really. I feel like the seed wasn't really too bad. Got really early all the items. I do feel it took me a really long time to go into like Skullwoods getting stuff.
Yeah,
like it took me a long time.
Making fun of you for how long it took you to get to Village Outcast.
Yeah, it took me a really long time not doing digging game and usual early stuff. And then I was like, I can just do all the overworld. I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, you never really get to skip anything in Keysanity, right?
Oh, no. It's really hard to skip stuff. It's a nice collection rate.
What do you think your final number is going to be here?
I
saw you were checking chests on the way up because you wanted to boost your number.
I just saw it right now, so I'm not gonna guess.
Oh, all right. We're a little behind you on the stream then.
Yeah.
We were also doing the big key guessing game, and it came out to be 33. So.
Oh. Wow.
Congratulations.
That's an amazing number.
It's pretty good.
Oh, 98.
Not even 200. What are you doing with
Not
your life?
even. Yeah, I skipped some items that I could see, some bad items like the powder at the end. And
it's an amazing item, whether you can see it or not, and you be quiet.
Yeah.
Still, 198 for 2 hours. That's not a bad day's work. How long did your seed when you drew all the names and you had to do 200?
Like 220, I think, because I was skipping some and coming back. So.
That's right. You kind of trolled yourself with your own routing.
Yeah.
That's the closest thing to this run that I've seen you do in quite a while that wasn't submitted by one of your viewers.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad seed. I guess Scooty got a lot of issue also.
Yeah, he I hate to say this, he skipped a certain spike cave. And then he decided, because he was short one key when he went into pod the first time, that he couldn't finish it anyway, and he didn't hammer jump. So then he had to go to Turtle Rock, and so he had to do a little bit of up and down the mountain fun game. He is currently making his way into Mire.
Sweet.
So he can go find his big key. Were you really gonna do Vitreous before you checked the vanilla big key location in Meyer?
Yeah, I was about to do Vitreous before the... Yeah, I don't know, I wanted to skip that one. I just took a route that if I was coming back, it was kind of long, so I was like, I hope it's not there. And I was feeling with how the seed was, it was very high chances it would be on VT, but it wasn't.
Yeah, that hook shot little trick worked out real well for you, but I mean, gosh, you were literally running out of places it could have been.
I know other places. I did check everything, I think.
Yeah, if there was anything absolutely left on the entire map, I can't think of it.
I don't think so.
Did you get the Skullwoods big chest?
Yeah, I had the big key when I went there. I think it was 20 rupees.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Scooty finally activating go mode here. So he'll be able to go upstairs as well.
Care to bust out some Final Fantasy VIII song for us while you're here, Ben?
All right. Thank you so much for commentaries.
I want to request Eyes on Me.
No, I don't think it's the time, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm gonna let you finish on this race. Thank you so much for commentaries.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, and hope you feel better, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Okay. So Scooty is now basically only a few minutes away from the end. So even with like the Palace of Darkness issue and the Moon Pearl issue, like Scooty didn't get that far behind.
Nope, not at all.
Keysanity is just kind of weird in general. You see huge variances in time just because of where the seed takes you and where the seed leads you away from. So
It's like an exercise in minimizing your double and triple dips, really.
pretty
And
much.
sometimes that's just completely out of your hand. You can choose a perfectly valid route and wind up with just not enough keys to do what you need to do, and there you go.
All right, so we're going to be going upstairs now. Scooty as well has all of the safeties. Pretty sure even including the powder. And not much else to say. I mean, any runner that's 2-0 in this tournament, I'm pretty sure can do Ganon's Tower with everything that both of these runners had. Having a little bit of trouble with the mimics here, but he does have the mirror shield. We'll be able to just shoot this guy instead of leading him over to the right side of the room. The game gives you like a statue there that you're supposed to like push or pull around to like coax the mimics across the room, but if you just spam the sword and hold a direction, the mimics will walk that way anyway, which is what some runners do. Other runners will just like walk into a wall while holding out the sword. It's like the NMG strat. Anyway, so Scooty's about to enter the gauntlet here after he crosses the Ganon Ball Z bridge.
Is that your official name for it? Is that like a real thing?
I just heard other people say it, and I liked it, so...
Well, as far as memes go, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Although I have to say, we're about to at the end of this seed. I'm still not terribly satisfied with the sound impression that you did for the cane when you're out of magic. I feel like the new people won't know when to hit the mushroom unless they, get an accurate representation of the cue.
How about this? Let's make it a co-op, tutorial. You do the sound, and we'll go from there.
No, if we're gonna do a co-op tutorial, we have to do it at the same time.
Oh God. No, thank you. I'd sooner do like a thwomp noise from Super Mario 64.
I'm game for that. I will put the matter to rest if we get a thwomp noise.
I can't do that either.
How are you promising something and you're not even giving it to us? This is terrible.
It is terrible.
All right. Well, Scooty is doing some silver strats, and then because he used the powder on the anti-fairy in the room beforehand, it changes the pattern from the very predictable and fairly easy to do pattern to something a little more random that can be trollier. So he found he'd had enough of trying to deal with that and pulled out the fire rod.
Yeah, the silver strats, especially in that room, can be kind of weird. It's because of that fireball shooter. It's kind of a jerk.
Yeah, and it creates more lag on top of the silver arrow lag, and it's just eventually you just kind of learn to deal with the lag festival. But if it's not the standard pattern because you did need to use the powder, good luck.
And Scooty being able to just dash across this bridge, taking out 3 moblins, I think. I don't know if they're actually moblins in one go.
I don't think that's actually a thing.
Moblins? Okay.
Not buying it. Of all the ridiculous names you've made up in this seed, that one's probably the worst. We'll see if Scooty decides to check some more chests up his final count, since he does know that Ben's already finished.
Doesn't look like it. Looks like we're getting some integrity on Scooty's
Maybe
side.
he just wants done with this whole fiasco at this point.
Yeah, the seed has not been very kind to Scooty. We are gonna get to see no troll dorms, thankfully.
Yeah, that's always the worst time.
We might see what's in the last chest in the game, though. And we do. It's just 3 bombs.
Yay, 3 bombs.
So those are the bombs that Ben needed earlier.
When he got rid of 30 of them on the way out. Oh, you mean he should have come all the way up to the top of the tower so he could go back and get his first sword.
Yeah, I think that's how it works, right?
Sure.
I mean,
In Entrance Randomizer, it pretty much is.
Yeah. I mean, considering the fact that we have Butter Sword and it wasn't... Like, we've had Tempered for a while. That sword on the ledge... Or not on the ledge, on the floating island on the mountain. That wasn't necessary at all. So if Ben really wanted to, we could have just left it there.
I've never seen the blue balls get redirected by the mirror shield before. That was kind of fun.
Scooty's getting a little trolled here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Probably
nice lineup.
Yeah, nice lineup on that phase. I don't know if that was a single or a double, though.
It looked more like a double. It was far enough apart. Unfortunately, he's just been kind of starved in some of the earlier hits where it didn't finish him off. And there he goes. Agatu's down. Scooty Puff has probably aged so much in this run that we could probably call him Scooty Puff Sr. at this point. There's probably a Scooty Puff the third running around.
Yeah, these races, like if you're just a spectator and you haven't participated in any of these tournaments, these races can get really stressful, especially if you're up against somebody like Ben, who's known as like one of the top runners of Randomizer.
Yeah, it can be so stressful, especially when it's your first race and you get to Ganon's Tower and you're having to do silverless in front of 1,500 people for the first time and you fall and let somebody else win a race that they probably didn't otherwise deserve to win. That's the worst.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
On to phase 3.
So, fun fact, the Ganon teleports and the Aga teleports are actually completely deterministic based upon the seed that you're playing. Not random at all.
Yeah, that's a pretty good addition. If you were going to bring these kind of trollier items back in the game, to at least make them trolly but fair is really important. Oh, that firebat can just suplex you right off the edge, even though you weren't even heading that direction. So glad that Scooty was able to stay up on the platform.
Yeah.
Should get his last 2 shots in here. And GG's to ScootyPuffJr1. ScootyPuffJr0 is very proud of you right now.
Or ScootyPuffSr1.
It's kind of the crazy thing about ScootyPuffJr1. There has to be a ScootyPuffJr without the 1 in order to include the 1, right?
I think if you're a junior, you're like always the first. Like if you had a second, like if ScootyPuffJr had a son, he could be named.
Well, his official SRL time is 2 hours 20 minutes exactly.
Yeah.
Beep.
Yeah, and we'll see if Scooty wants to come in for a quick interview.
If he declines, I will not blame him. Sometimes you just want to put the controller down and walk away.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those seeds. But Scooty will be hopping in here. And is currently muted. So, good game, Scooty.
Thanks.
That seed didn't treat you very well, unfortunately.
Yeah, I not so good with green mail and no flute. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
It could have been worse. I made a couple routing mistakes, but, it wasn't that bad. I was hoping to be within 20 minutes of Ben, and I think I did it by about a couple seconds.
By 12. Exact 12 seconds.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, the biggest things between you and Ben that race were obviously Moon Pearl. When Ben actually made his way into deserts, he was able to clear out that room. Unfortunately, you didn't have a weapon other than bombs, and from what we understood, you only had like 2.
Yeah,
so
I had
it
exactly
would've
2. I walked in that room and then realized that I was dumb.
And I mean, it's not really something you think about a lot when you're racing randomizer, like bomb count early on. Oftentimes, you just sort of have bombs, or you'll like buy a 10-pack.
Or have something else you need to possibly help you out, like the hook shot or anything else at that point, literally.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a rare situation you found yourself in, and unfortunately, that cost you quite a bit of time.
Yeah, another pretty big thing was Palace of Darkness. Because I don't know
how to hammer jump, so I haven't learned that yet. So it definitely cost me time there, and I forgot that I picked up the big key in Palace of Darkness, so I had to go through the Dark Maze twice.
Yeah, we noticed that. So that was another place where Ben made up some time. So, I mean, in terms of like Keysanity, like time differences, I think this is pretty low. So to go up against somebody like Ben. And to put up such a competitive time in a seed like this, I think that's really impressive.
Yeah, I'm certainly not upset with my time. I know this was a longer seed, and I'm still, 220. I'll take it.
Yeah, especially with a full clear against tower, and then having to double dip, go into mire, almost full clear mire. I mean, it's what chat wanted. You brought the entertainment level for us. We appreciate that.
No problem.
Yeah, for a while you actually had a bbit of an advantage in the beginning. Ben's routing in the beginning, I forget exactly what it was.
He got really obsessed with the flippers.
Yeah, he hit the lake area 3 times. So you had a bit of an advantage there.
Yeah, I was pretty nervous doing these fights with green mail and no bottles. I usually have at least 1 blue if I can, and I just, never really had a chance to get to the potion shop.
Yeah, without the flute to kind of get you over there to 2, sometimes you're kind of stuck with whatever you get in those bottles. At least it was a liquid, not just a B.
Yeah.
You're using the cape to get past the mini Moldorm cave there. Also, it was you were so close to exactly the right idea, and you just forgot to activate it before you jumped down.
Yeah, I used it to make sure I got through Spiral Cave. At least, and then I don't know. I died. Whatever. It happens.
Yeah, it totally happens. So 2-1. Still have a lot of this tournament left to go. Plenty of high quality opponents left for you.
Yeah, I'm incredibly happy. I was hoping to get one win in this, so I'm being 2-1. I'm quite pleased.
That's fantastic. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think definitely like to see your races going forward. Maybe even if you win 2 more, you can be in the gigantic wildcard race.
That would be amazing.
It would be. It'll be a tough road ahead, but good luck to you in that road, and we'll probably leave you to go get some refreshment or whatever, because it's been a long seed for you. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, just thanks for commentary and tracking and restreaming, guys. Thanks a lot.
Just so you know, before you leave, we were cheering for you the whole time.
I bet you were.
All right. Cool. So I guess before we finish, we can plug some additional races today.
All right.
We have on Speed Gaming at 2 p.m. We have Nikki Knoll versus Phi Leon. I think that's how it's pronounced. At 12 p.m. on A Link to the Past Randomizer 1, or I guess just A Link to the Past Randomizer, we have
12 p.m.
lunchtime.
That's like 45 minutes ago.
That is, yeah. So if you want to watch a race, and I just go there now. Link to the Past Randomizer, and that's lunchtime. ATH versus Killer App 23. At 3 p.m. on Link to the Past Randomizer 2, we have Yukisaka 0 versus Wef Jebster. And 4 p.m. on Link to the Past Randomizer 1, Kroya versus Swerb. And at 5 p.m. on an as of yet undetermined channel, we have the Prof Gamer and Fat Home 666.
It's really entertaining to listen to you try to pronounce some of these things. It's really good. It's like a substitute teacher.
Yeah. So I guess I'll give shout outs to my co-commentator Hippo. Give shout outs to our tracker Ms. Metroid.
Yep, good job, Ms. Metroid. You did great. I also want to thank my co-commentator Robles. Good job, man. It was a lot of fun.
Robles. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah. I'm the substitute teacher in this situation.
And I guess that's it for us.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. I guess a good
See
day.
you.
It's too early for night.